Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll call you right back podcast.
All right. I appreciate you both coming over. I've been admiring both of your work from afar for a minute now. I have no crafty ability in woodworking at all. My closest adventure with woodworking was refinishing this table. That's about it. It's literally all I did.
Yeah.
It turned out better than I expected. It did. It turned out better than I expected. It was like this. I mean, some lady gave me this for $50.
Isn't nice?
And
Sweet,
with
yeah.
like the base and everything. I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah.
But other than that, woodworking fascinates me. I feel like that now that things are more accessible, I see so many more people doing it now. I see that you've been in it for like a decade. I was kind of reading your bio a little bit. Were you doing construction before you
just
started your own business?
General remodeling stuff. I was working as a carpenter, and then I started kind of telling, I'd be doing a bathroom renovation. I'd be like, hey, I could build that vanity cabinet for you for cheap, and then became more and more of that. And then eventually I was able to phase out of the remodeling end and just be doing custom cabinetry, and now we've transcended now into more furniture stuff, which is cool.
Yeah. I noticed that you both you work on like a lot of like the built-ins. Like I think the first built-in I saw from you was, I took a screenshot of it, was this one right here.
Yeah.
And I think my buddy shared it, and I was like, I immediately followed it, and I was pretty impressed with it. And then everything you look at, you have a pretty wide variety of things that you do.
Yeah, totally. We don't, and that's definitely advice I would give to anyone getting into this world, is just don't say no.
Yeah.
Just figure it out, and it's only going to make your scope bigger. It's going to make your skill set bigger.
Yeah, I was reading on your website. It said don't hesitate to approach us with any project.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like that because it's. I mean, you could tell that you're not afraid to work out of your comfort zone. You make some pretty wild stuff, like the chairs with the bended arms, and it's definitely stuff that I've not really seen before. And I'm kind of curious, the backstory of you both. I know that you have a bachelor in fine arts for painting.
Yeah.
And I know that I now know that you did remodeling and stuff like that. I'm curious to know, I assume that this is not stuff that yins wanted to do when yins were growing up, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, pretty accurate.
It's usually 90% of the people that come in here, no one really ever plans to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
So what did you both plan on doing whenever you were younger? Did you have any idea?
I probably didn't expect to still be alive at this age. I don't know.
No, you actually told me that when we were dating. You said, I'll probably be dead by 30.
27 Club.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, that's unfortunate because you're 26.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, when I was younger, I thought I'd, be an artist, which,
Did you?
winding path, that's kind of where we're landing in a weird way.
Yeah.
Not in wood at all. That was never something that was in my vocabulary. But,
Yeah. You painted a lot younger?
I didn't actually. I was a big into photography and sewing and stuff. And I went to Kappa in downtown. So I had a lot of opportunities to just try
all
anything.
Different stuff.
Yeah. And I was really fortunate for that. But wood was never one of them.
Yeah.
That really is Bobby, so I'm learning.
Yeah, it's cool because you have you have someone who knows the basics, and then you have this concentrated dose of creativity to add into this. So I'm sure that yins both work well together.
Yeah, big time. And Jolie brings a cool element of, I never went to art school or anything where she did, and she had to go through critiques and stuff. So where her whole class was just I don't like this, I don't like that, defend this, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
So she kind of brings that, I'll bring a rudimentary sketch for a project to her, and she'll be like, what about this? What about that? So it's a really healthy back and forth that I could never do on my own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, an open line of constructive criticism. Someone else, I feel, told me my buddy's a photographer, and he said that he paid to enter classes that had that.
Yeah.
Where you would bring your best work, and all these people that were just like, the murderers in every field that they were in would all bring their best work and just like kind of just like nitpick everyone's stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought it was fascinating because like, some people were just like, kind of like afraid to have that, have their passion and like their heart and their hard work critiqued as hard as they are. But I feel like that those people are the ones that like, they're striving to be
right?
And like, and you have a certain level of like, you got to be a certain level in your mental to be able to like handle that shit.
Yeah.
It's cool to think about it though. It's like wanting to, you're just wanting to get better. Now, what about you? You were obviously just like a bike rat, always on your bike.
Yeah, and I made videos growing up that, so that was...
Welcome to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And
I'm going to push this up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
No problem.
But I just saw that. I saw that you just posted something. You got another one coming out in November.
Yeah.
And I know that Mark is in it. Me and Mark have been talking.
Okay.
I've been trying to get him on here.
Yeah,
He's a little bit hesitant.
Is
so
he?
hopefully this will be a good
We'll
catalyst.
encourage him.
Yeah, I hope so.
We'll give him a nudge.
He, I was never really in the bike world, but, talking to Caudle, kind of that bleeds into my world. I grew up skateboarding and shit.
Cool.
So it was like, kind of opposite, but I know that like the crew that you guys are all hanging around with are kind of like the ones that are doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of people are doing it, to be honest, but which is cool. Like there's so many scenes, so many kids that I don't know. I used to be like, if you're on a BMX bike, I could spot you from 100 yards and know exactly who you were.
Yeah.
But now I see these kids like, who's that? Because there's so many more kids doing it, which is really cool.
Yeah. Do you ever like equate that with people having phones on them at all the time? Because like if you think about like late 80s, Rodney Mullen doing like, skateboarding the way that he was doing, that was like super innovative. Forgive me for comparing it to skateboarding. I don't know any old bike people, but like he's doing shit that no one ever seen. And people were trying to like slowly, work up to that visually just by seeing him. You would only see him in competitions, maybe on TV if he was there. Yeah. But now you have, and like back then an ollie was like out of people's minds to even do. And now you have kids like Nyjah Houston, but they grew up being able to see these people doing everything.
Totally.
So it's like, it's almost like letting people in on like, the stuff earlier than you were able to get it. I mean, when you were younger, I'm sure that you didn't have anything to like, you were watching probably getting stuff from Dance Comp, right? Yeah,
VHSs coming through the mail.
Yeah. It's wild to think about it now because we literally have everything we ever want in our lives on the phone. And it's crazy to think about that because young kids are so much more, trainable, teachable, and now they're seeing it and like they're like, oh, maybe I can go out in the yard and do this, and it's like advancing them pretty quicker.
Yeah, I think it's like a whole evolution, and that goes back to woodworking too. Like just being able to share. Like we've grown, we've evolved so much faster because we can see. Whoa, that guy's doing that. Whoa, that guy's doing that. Whoa, you can cut that kind of joint. Whoa, you can bend wood like that. It's like it just opens. Mentally, it opens so many doors.
Yeah, and how often people share their process, and it's so accessible. It's not like, I don't know, you don't have to pay to go to school to learn from people that are doing these incredible things. They're kind of sharing it. And
they're not like gatekeepers where they're like want to keep people away from it, where it was kind of that way. But now everything seems more welcoming.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, and it's kind of redefining like the term self-taught, because it's like, we're self-taught, but people are so open, like through Instagram, even like you can send an accomplished woodworker a direct message, like, and I've done it, like, hey man, notice you did this thing. Like I've tried that and I failed because of this, or like, I'm concerned about this. And I'm blown away. They give me these long responses that are super nice and like, try this, try that. It's like the same as being in a classroom.
Yeah. It's refreshing to have those experiences, whatever field you're working in, to have someone just like take the time to, but like, it's another, the phone is like a blessing and a curse.
Right.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I'm at to the point now where I was addicted to my phone, 21, 22, 23. And now I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I try, it kills me to like, try to keep up with like posts and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But you do pretty well at it. Like you always have some cool, like very unique videos that you're showing that are not just like, basic visually cutting wood, but like I saw like the bends that you were making.
Yeah.
Like I love seeing all that stuff because it's fascinating to me. I saw the one armoire you did with like that bend and the two doors, and like that's beautiful to do.
Yeah,
it's
thanks.
cool to I've never knew that process until I started getting the social media and seeing people putting these videos of like the boards in them steamed bags that they could like, and then people like ratchet strapping them.
Yeah,
it's
that's a
wild
crazy
to
process,
see.
yeah.
It's really crazy. Do you? That's the way. I mean, I see that you were doing something a little bit different. Do you have like a vacuum seal bag type?
Yeah. So it's called a bent lamination.
Yeah.
So as opposed to a steam bend where you're taking a solid piece of wood and steaming it and bending it in a form and then it's curing in that shape, we're taking thin strips of wood and putting them over a form. And in between every 1/8 sheet is glue.
Oh, okay.
So that all squeezes into the bag over the form.
Yeah.
And then when that dries, when that glue cures, it's like a solid piece.
Yeah, that's probably, I wondered how just by like visually, how things looked visually, how people were doing it in just one piece of wood, but that makes a lot of sense what you're saying.
Yeah.
Laying pieces down and, it probably seems a little bit more, structurally sound rather than just one piece.
It can
Is
go
that
either
right?
way. The big benefit is you can do like a larger sheet, like in that armoire, for instance, that's like 24-inch deep piece.
Yeah.
So that whole sheet can bend that way.
Okay.
Whereas like if you're looking at like a Windsor chair or something with like a curved arm rail, that's typically like a steam bent piece. It's just like one piece of wood.
That makes sense. It makes a little bit more sense. Now, for you to, kind of, navigate out of the biking world and into the adult world, it's like, was it construction?
We're still not there.
That's happened yet.
Well, that's good. I mean, I don't want to grow up either. I definitely don't. But it's like, I mean, people have to make money to live. It's like, was that your first like career? Was like construction type work?
Yeah. Career is it sounds strange.
It's a loose word.
But yeah,
it's a loose word.
That was a first like real paycheck.
It's kind of ironic because I've kind of been like working since I was a teenager and worked through college. And, when I met him, I'm working, like 7 days a week, and he's loosely working construction for a BMX buddy. And,
cool.
And I kind of quit my part-time job and helped part-time and witnessed, like just how like, loose that can be.
Yeah.
But now I've since quit my quote unquote career.
Yeah.
Because this, all the hard work Bobby's done over the years has
turned into something.
I mean, we were, having to pay a guy more money than I was making in a year to help him out in the shop and with the work he was doing. So it's kind of funny. You really only worked for yourself almost.
Yeah.
Forever.
That's a pretty great accomplishment to be able to like, how could I ask how old you are?
I'm 36.
36. Could I ask how old you are?
32.
Okay. So, I mean, to work, up until now, for you to not really have any sort of like, serious jobs, like that's pretty awesome to be able to like do that. Now, where do you learn from? It's like, do you just pick up through experience over the years, or do you go to school?
Yeah, it's been experience. It's been a trial and error.
Yeah.
We've hooked up with a few really good interior designers that, especially early on in me figuring out all this custom stuff, kept me on my toes with like every project was slightly different. So it kind of accelerated my growth curve that way, because it was like there were due dates, everything had to be done in a timely manner. And
you like had that structure that you needed to adhere to that kept you accountable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a business where if you're not really hustling, you're not making money, Yeah,
I guess that would make sense. You got to put out the work. People ain't paying you unless they get their stuff.
Yeah. And the other part of it, and I talked to this old guy randomly. I was down in Florida talking to this old guy, and he owned his own business, and I was just starting out in my business, and I was talking about I was doing this project, and I basically had to build it twice because I just messed it up. And say I charged like $1,000 for one. I expected it to say, like, for easy math, let's say I charge $1,000. I expected it to take 10 hours. It's $100 an hour. Sweet.
Yeah.
I had to build it twice. Okay. Now I'm making 50
an hour.
Like, it actually took 100 hours. Now I'm making $10 an hour,
Oh yeah.
And he said, and I'll never forget it. He just said to me, that's the tuition you're paying to the school you're not going to.
100%.
It's like, no matter what, you got to pay.
Yeah.
You can pay at a 4-year school or a trade school or whatever, or you can just be doing the work twice and getting paid less for it.
100%, man. It's like you can go to school 100 times, but it's like you're not learning anything until you have experience.
Yeah, totally.
They're teaching you this shit in school that like you're probably not going to run into that exact situation. So you got to adapt.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not learning how to do that in school, really. You need to learn from that experience wise, mentally.
Right.
The mental shit is like I never really understood it. I started getting a taste in school just by like having to do final projects. I do like CAD work. So, I just would have to do all these drawings with all these pieces. And like, that was like my first little bit. But now like, having a job, you're like, for you to mentally involve yourself in things is, a big commitment. And I don't know. You just got to make sure the juice is worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to think about it though, because usually I ask people like, how they're gaining their knowledge, and construction, people that are in construction, you usually hear like, they're almost like chefs. It's like, I kind of fell into just like working on the line, and I kind of got bit by the bug, and I worked my way up. And construction, I often hear, is like kind of the same way. It's like, I just, paid well in the summer, and I just kept going.
Yeah.
It's cool to hear about that though, because, I reflect so much now. I'm 31, I talk like I'm some old dude now, but it's like, I never paid attention to shit. My dad was he built houses, my whole childhood. And anytime I would help him, it was always just me serving time, like cleaning shit up. Like, I don't want to be here. I want to go fucking skate with my friends or anything. I never paid attention, but now I like yearn for learning about anything. Yeah. It's wild to think about that.
Yeah.
And what about you? It's like you went to school for, fine arts. It's how was that your choice? What made you wanted to go that way?
I was just always really interested in art just growing up, and I had like a really supportive family in that regard that they always supported those interests. So
what was your goal with it?
To be a famous artist.
Yeah.
How
what
hard
it was,
could that
though?
be? I mean, at a certain point when you decide you're going to a fine art school, that's what you think is going to be your reality. Like, I remember graduating and going to New York with no clear intent of what the hell was I gonna do, and just kind of exploring people I had met, and some connections I had kind of made in school, and realizing how much of, one, you're not going to be a famous artist, and two, what you will be is such a struggle to just still be part of that world, especially in like a New York, so I came back to Pittsburgh and just worked in like arts organization. So I worked at Manchester Craftsmen's Guild, which is in the north side.
My cousin worked there for a while.
Oh, really? Who's that?
Daisy Howitt.
Oh my gosh, here is he, Daisy's cousin?
Oh yeah, Daisy is
shout out Daisy.
Probably one of my favorite people in the world.
Daisy. Yeah, same for us. I drink out of a mug Daisy made every morning.
Day.
I have this, I still have a Christmas gift. It's my favorite thing ever. It's like this big ceramic thing with this like head. He used to make these like heads.
Yeah.
And I have one right upstairs. Oh, he's my favorite.
Yeah. He's
been on
best.
here.
Oh my God.
I had him on after he biked across the country.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was
he
insane.
is the best.
Did not sleep under a roof one time.
That sounds so Daisy.
Exactly, right? But so you worked there. That's cool that like you kind of like navigated through
and I had multiple jobs through there, and eventually landed, like I was in the ceramic studio for a while with Daisy. Taught photography, and then eventually was doing their exhibitions, which also really made me realize how much I wouldn't want to be a quote unquote, like working famous artist. Just working with that, it's a difficult life. But now it's kind of funny, like serendipitously landed in a very similar role. That's like, I don't know.
It's not as foreign,
No,
it's different materials, but not as foreign.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it's been really fun. Just, I think we also have this like really good working relationship. A lot of people ask us.
Oh, I was going to ask.
Yeah, how do you survive? And I don't know. I mean, everyone always asks us. And I think one thing was right after we got married, we bought a house, and Bobby had started his business, and we wanted, or you were still working for other people, but we were like, let's do this for ourselves. You know, why not? And we bought a house, and, you know, it didn't have a roof, and we're living in it. And, you know, we just had to.
You had to hash it out through that.
Yeah. And just, you know, I think I learned early on just
how to deal with each other.
Yeah, like to back off, you know, because realistically, it's like, you know what you're doing way more than me. I don't need to, you know, I grew up learning to like, just don't step in and just, you know, back away quietly if like you're not really sure, you know? Yeah. And I think we've just, over time in all these projects, you know, we redid a house, worked on our house. We've done every kind of work together when not for business.
We've lived in gutted out houses.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, occasions. One of the sickest photos is you standing there and that 10-year challenge with the wall built and everything. Yeah. Like super cool to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super, it's super cool that you have that experience to, you know, like kind of build up your home together.
Yeah.
And obviously I know that it had to be crazy at some points, but you know, to see the end result, you know, you got to get through the rain to get to the rainbow. Mm-hmm. You know, we bought this house. This was a hoarder's house.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't buy. I'm not, you know, I can't do this shit. For me to do it would take 3 times as long, cost me so much more money. Yeah. These people just flipped this house completely.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I would love to be able to like buy. We were talking, maybe we'll buy a house and fix it up. And I'm like, no, like I can't do that right now.
It's not for everybody.
No.
It's not for I mean, like I would love to be able to learn gradually, but I can't live in a gutted out house, you know, and have that pressure on me to like half-ass shit and just Mickey Mouse together. You know what I mean? It's you got to have a certain bond to be able to deal with that.
Well, and they're definitely, you know, it's definitely, it was an interesting, Bobby more than me, because like with the bike community and stuff was, you're kind of like moving around, sleep in a tent, that kind of thing. Actually, you were sleeping in a tent when I met you, but like, I had never experienced anything like that, you know? And then day one, it's like, there's just nothing in this. I mean, it was completely just no roof raining into the house, and we're sleeping there. My mom went into the house and sobbed when we bought it. And, it's interesting because there was obviously really bad. It was never bad, but it's stressful.
Yeah.
But I like think about the times when we like lived in that house, and you're just living in this like dumpster house, and it's like kind of freeing.
Yeah.
You know, like you spills them, you're kind of like, what? I mean, we're
Paint
tearing this floor out anyway.
Gonna fix it anyway.
I know it was such a bizarre experience, and I don't necessarily want to ever do it again, but
it's a good chapter in the book.
It was awesome. It was a really
really
good experience, and we did. I mean, until the pandemic, we didn't have a whole first floor. It was gutted out, and we were cooking in a laundry room.
It's probably cool because, like, in that experience, you probably have an opportunity to learn more things that, like, you probably just could do in your sleep.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So, and it's your space, so you're not trying to, you know, if you're working on a job, you're trying to get shit done right, quick. Get out, you know, do it the correct way. Yeah. You have a little bit more opportunity to take your time and, you know, do it once or twice, learn a little bit more. It's so that's probably, I mean, I'm a glass half full guy, you know, I try to figure it out.
That's how I feel about it. I thought it was an awesome experience, but we'll have friends and, you know, they'll be like, I want to buy this like crappy house. It's only $30,000. I'm like, I know you don't have it in, like, you just don't. And not like that's bad, but like, why torture yourself?
I feel like that whenever I see people say like, oh, I'm getting a dog because like, I mean, I know what it's like now. We had a crazy experience. I'm like, definitely not for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely interesting. I'm curious to know though, you know, for you to start your own business as a, you know, woodworker, I mean, like, how do you even, you know, I mean, I guess you already told me. You said a lot of it was from the beginning, word of mouth, people seeing your work and wanting you to do different things. How do you, you know, kind of continue your education to a point where you're not going to bite off more than you could chew, so to speak?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
I mean, is that kind of, you know, you're like, I'm going to just try it and figure it out?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, pretty much. We were just at our friend Martin has this beautiful store called Twin Pine out in, I think, Allison Park, maybe. Yeah. He'll hate me for not knowing where it's at. But he had this neon sign that says, your comfort zone will kill you.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, I get that. I'm with that. Because every project we do, and we're in we're designing, unless it's for an interior designer, we're designing all of our projects. So every one we kind of incorporate something new we're learning or we want to learn into it. So therefore we're being paid to learn in that way.
Are you both doing the sketching? Are you using like SketchUp?
Yeah, it starts with SketchUp and then...
Because I see you post some drawings of it, like just some, rudimentary sketches. Are you both doing stuff like that, or do one of yous?
Yeah.
Lately, we've kind of come into this design world because I don't really know how everything works, right? I could have a design, but I don't fundamentally know if that can be put together. So we kind of work together in that. Like, we'll both come up with some ideas, and then he'll say, like, we can't do that, or we can do this. And then I pretty much sketch everything. And we've kind of developed a different process for that, but we use SketchUp.
That's pretty cool. I feel like it's a useful tool. Like, I know a few people that like do their own work on it, whether it be just like, interior design looks. It's definitely cool to be able to see that. Is that how your process usually works? Is like you guys, like, let's say, we'll talk both different processes. We'll do pieces that you want yourself, and then pieces that customers approach you with. So if a customer approaches you with a different idea, do you tend to feel like you have more opportunity to take creative control with it? Or like, do you ever have people that are like, I need it to be exactly this?
Yes.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's usually how the conversation starts in that scenario. And usually by the end, we do end up having a little bit of an input. Yeah. Because if we do have a change to make, it's for a good reason. Yeah. Like this might be a little wobbly, or this, you know what I mean? Like, things that the people might not necessarily have in their mind. Right. We stare at it all day, and we look at every piece of furniture we see with like a little more of a discerning eye. You know what I mean? So we usually have some input there. Otherwise, we like to just talk to the people for a while about like what they want out of the piece, like more from a functional standpoint. Yeah.
Do you usually have people like provide like photo references? Do you like to work from that, or do you kind of like
totally.
to just, okay.
And those are kind of some of our more fun projects are like we did a china cabinet last year. I think it was last year. That referenced different pieces of furniture in the house existing. That's cool. So it's kind of this like amalgamation of several different pieces that were all part of a set, and that furniture maker no longer carried that line. Yeah. So we were kind of like
making something that kind of fit.
So it fits in, but it's unique still.
But it also like suited their needs, the thing that they could have bought from the company just matched everything, but maybe it's not quite what you want. So that was a really cool project to incorporate. It has to look like it's part of this line of furniture.
I feel like that would be super fun to be able to like, kind of have that challenge, especially if you two both seem like you want some, you don't want to just be doing cookie cutter shit, I'm sure you're over that. Yeah. You could tell from the stuff that you're doing. Whatever you posted last, it was at a bench with like curved rails. Yeah. It's like, what the hell is going on with this?
Isn't it crazy?
It is crazy. Like, I really didn't understand
Bobby's brainchild. He's in the midst of it right now.
Is that something that you put together? Like that you designed?
Yeah. Totally.
I'm curious because like, whenever I look at your stuff, like I feel like I see all these different styles. Like, usually you could tell whether it's an artist or something. You could kind of tell their style. I can't tell shit with yours. Because one thing, I saw your end table with the open back with the dovetail joints on there. Yeah. And like, that's beautiful. And then you look at one of those big tables that they're split with one of them like bow tie. And you're just like, I mean, like it really looks like that you're just seeing stuff that you love online, and you're just trying to like put your own spin on it. Yeah. And I think that's so cool. That's why I wanted to like kind of figure out what's going on in your head.
Yeah. Thanks for the compliment. And that kind of goes back to like me saying, if you're getting in this business, don't say no to anything. Cause like, yes, like part of what you just said could be not good. Like, oh, I don't have like a definitive style. Like that could be like, oh, that's not really ideal. I want to be like identifiable. Like, oh, that's a Valentine piece or whatever. But at the same time, we've been doing this strictly woodworking now for really only 5 years. So I plan on doing this. We're never going to be able to retire. So I'm looking at another 40 years of work. So maybe in 20 years, I'll have like a definitive style, but I'm building a foundation that's as broad as I possibly can. Yeah. By saying like, you want a live edge table, you want a mid-century modern thing, you want a Victorian replica. I'm going to try it all. I want to do it all. And build up from that, as opposed to like, I love this, and
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
absolutely.
make this.
Adding tools to the toolbox.
Right.
It's cool it's interesting that you say that. Like, people might want to have like a definitive style, like Valentine. This is a Valentine piece of furniture, but I feel like yours makes more sense, the method that you two have when you approach it, because I don't know, I feel like I would want to kind of approach it your way, where you're kind of learning all these things and not like pigeonholing yourself into like one certain thing that only one person will hit you up for. It's like, I want to be able to do all kinds of shit. You know, like realistically, you can just design someone's whole house of furniture.
Yeah.
Some people can't do that.
Yeah.
It's cool to, like, I'm curious, what are your favorite styles? Like I love mid-century modern stuff. That's usually what I gravitate towards, just by like, I don't even know why. I just really love it. What do you enjoy?
Yeah, I think we're on that kick right now.
Well, it's interesting because I think mid-century modern is really popular right now. So it's probably what is populating everyone's feeds, and that's why we're all really drawn to it. But, our furniture at home is all like my great grandmother's or his, family's furniture. We don't have any, or we made it.
Yeah.
And it's all really kind of traditional and it's not mid-century. I'd love to like have a mid-century room, but it doesn't work. And it's so hard to say like one, there's, you also love like George Nakashima, it's such like a hard thing to pick, one era or one thing. There's so many cool elements just from learning about it. And we, recently have tried to like get more books and like not just look at feeds and what's being populated for you based on things, but
for real,
look at old furniture books and look at, that kind of thing to kind of inform your vision. And it always comes out, we'll be looking at something for a while and the next thing Bobby designs, it's kind of indicative of that.
Subconsciously, it's ingrained.
Every single project we've done probably for the last year and a half has been completely new.
Yeah.
Like there's probably one element that like you have to learn in order for you to accomplish the project. So I think, like you said, again, not pigeonholing yourself into one design, but also not pigeonholing yourself into one thought process or one style or look has also been really helpful,
Go ahead.
And also like across the broad spectrum of furniture or anything that's built, to be honest, like there's this matter of like proportion that I'm like obsessing over right now, like the height of a seat back to the depth of the seat to like how high the armrail is. And Jolie got this really great book for me for Christmas. It's just called 1,000 Chairs, and it's just like a kind of a coffee table book. Yeah, and it just has 1,000 chairs in it.
And awesome. You dive and you become obsessed.
We did a deep dive the other night, just page turning.
Yeah, just leaning over each other's shoulders, like, ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
But like the aesthetics of a piece being set aside, you can see these kind of constants of just like this works and this doesn't work in regards to proportion.
That makes sense.
And it's really, I don't know, seeing that and seeing these, because the chairs are just like chairs made from like 1850 to 1990.
Yeah.
So it's not
all different kinds.
Type. Yeah, it's all over the place. But you see these like kind of constants coming, these like themes kind of coming together.
Yeah.
And that's like where I'm trying to like tap into, like, this is the real thing. Like this is beyond like what's hot on Instagram or whatever. Like this is going to last. This is
you want
permanent.
you want that inside of you. You want to understand that to a certain,
right.
to more than just a surface level of scrolling.
Right. Yeah.
That's I like that. You can respect that. That you want to dive deeper into that. What is like, did you have like a artistic background? Like, were you someone in high school that like did artwork and everything?
Your videos, I mean,
I guess so. Yeah,
that's a big.
Yeah, it's a different kind of creativity,
but it's still creative. You're editing.
It is still creative. I would argue that it's because I was never artistic, but I liked editing stuff. I liked, I obviously like doing this stuff, and I feel like that this is it's the same as people that are painting and stuff like that, because I get lost in this shit for sure.
Yeah.
It's but it's curious. It makes me curious because like if you become fascinated, I'm more wondering if like that was just something that was always with you, or if you're like fascinating because you're getting more involved in your passions now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just interested in that stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were like someone that was like, oh, I used to love sculpting and stuff like that, because that would relate more.
Right. Yeah. I can't say that. I mean, I spent most of my life building dirt jumps, and that's
That's
construction.
That's a really creative process too,
yeah, it's a very in-depth process.
Yeah, you guys got some wild ass shit going on that trailer that you put out. I watched. I mean, just launching off that big ass ramp just gives me anxiety. I mean, are you riding in these things, or are you more filming these things?
Filming, yeah. I ride a lot of the stuff, but I like to be behind the lens, and I'm not as good as any of my friends.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're not launching 50. I mean, I don't even know how you guys are doing it, being like, getting, I mean, you're not even old. It's just you're older. It's like, I'm 31. I definitely know how different I feel from 21.
Right.
So people were launching 15 foot off of a ramp. Like I remember watching my friends just like ollie down like 10 sets of stairs. Yeah. I'm like, how are your knees just not just exploding? And then you look at the older dudes that were, the OGs back whenever we were younger that are still doing shit like that. Yeah. It's like, it's overwhelming to think about.
Yeah. It's a cool thing. I mean, I'm lucky. Like the scene in Pittsburgh for bikes is just the best. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, I still have to stop myself. Like I'll be, filming Mark, for instance, and we're in the woods and I'm like, I've been filming this dude and riding with this dude for 20 years.
Yeah. Is that how long? Is he your age too?
Yeah.
You guys grew up together?
Yeah. I mean, we were from different areas, but everyone in the BMX scene kind of grew up together,
Yeah. It's,
everyone together.
I mean, just because I was never in that world, I didn't really know about it. And Cottle was like, this is it. This is the dude you need to get on. And then I started looking into all of it, and I didn't even know there was a Trail Rider of the Year. I didn't know any of this. And then I start to look into it more, and I'm just like, holy shit, like this dude's like right here, and he's like a big deal. And it was cool to see that, I looked at his post, and it gives me chills. It said, sometimes you just got to let your kids play in the dirt. And it was a picture of his parents holding that trophy. Yeah. And I don't even know the dude, but it almost made me emotional. Like reading that. I was like, God, that's it's like electric to read stuff like that and see people succeed. Yeah. Especially cool kids, kids that were bike people and skateboard people. They're often parents probably are not yeah, I'm pumped you're riding bikes and getting all tore up and skateboarding. But now you're just like, man, I made some shit happen. Mm-hmm. It's really cool to see that. What are, obviously you said you're 5 years into strictly doing woodwork and you're, churning out projects. It's like, what are goals for, what do you want to work towards? Do you have ideas? Do you set goals for yourself, or you just want to have slow?
Yeah. And we, almost every year something happens. 2020 was the pandemic. So that kind of just,
that changed our life. We finished our house.
Yeah, we finished our house. But 2019, Jolie started working full time. 2020, we'll call that a wash. Yeah. 2021, I don't know what happened. I sound like an idiot.
I mean, I feel like you guys were putting out a lot of stuff because I was following you for the whole year, and I feel like you had a lot of projects that you were posting. I don't know if those were just things that you already did previously that you were posting.
No, that was all current. Yeah.
Everything's pretty much in real time, and I think what you were kind of getting at is every year we do kind of accomplish this weirdly large thing without even setting out to do it. It just kind of happens, and then so now we are getting more to the point of being okay, yeah, let's set a goal, and so this upcoming year and stuff, we really I don't want people to be turned off by this or anything, but it's we really want to try and get away from painting and really just work with wood. Yeah. Wood, that's woodworkers. So that's just kind of a goal, but not to say don't contact us if you want something painted. Yeah. But it's just another goal,
let the wood speak for itself.
Yeah, and so using certain projects, becoming more eco-friendly, only sourcing wood from Pennsylvania, which that's a goal that we've accomplished.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to kind of move into next, because I saw on your website that you guys try to be as sustainable as you can, shop local when you can, and kind of keep it in there. And I'm definitely of that same vein. Anytime I can kind of keep it in the community, I try to, whether it's design or, printing. Now, I'm curious to know, I mean, everyone's seen during the pandemic, the price of wood is through the roof. Yeah. You saw sheets of plywood for $80 a piece. Yeah. What is that like as woodworkers, as people that are doing this full time? Do you see a slowdown of work because
No,
shit like this
quite
happens?
the opposite.
We
Last year
exploded,
was
yeah.
just insane because everyone was at home so
Yeah.
much, and they had a little extra money, so they were
And
like,
just looking at how shitty their
Yeah.
house is. Like,
Yeah,
ugh,
like-
that's
Or
terrible.
they couldn't get things. You know, people would otherwise typically order a table from, Pottery Barn. You can't get
Swear
it.
to God, I ordered my couch December 26, 2020. Didn't get it until August 31st.
Yeah.
They delivered it to me. It was sopping wet. Didn't bring me the legs. Didn't bring one of the throw pillows. And I was just like, I waited for this for 8 months, and it's a garbage couch. It's
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
It's a waste.
Yeah.
And we spent like $1,000 on it. It's like,
Yeah, that's the problem.
you're just like, these are literally just trash pieces.
Yep. Mhm.
So, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm just to the point where I'm just like done with it. And next time I'm
Yeah.
going to call you guys for
Yeah,
sure
call us
for
up.
all of our stuff.
Well, even to speak to that, like I had said, we had my family's furniture. So these chairs we had are probably like, I don't know.
like late 1800s.
Yeah, late 1800 chairs, and we had them reupholstered, which is expensive, but
Yeah.
so is also 3 new chairs.
Yeah. And they're not going to be built the way that those
and
other ones were.
The upholsterer, who's this awesome dude, was just like, these are really good chairs. So how often is someone taking, no one's getting their stuff reupholstered necessarily because it's not even really worth it. So
Yeah.
You can buy a new one cheaper, a new piece of garbage that you're going to throw out anyway.
and you'll end up
100%.
spending the same amount of money over time. It's like you can invest in this thing. And,
Absolutely.
And that's really what we want to strive towards too, is like kind of educating people too, people our age, and just younger people to say like, invest in your furniture. It shouldn't be disposable.
I got to get my boy on here. He owns an upholstery business, Bellis Upholstery in Elizabeth.
Okay.
They've been around forever.
Awesome.
Long time. They got some good work.
Yeah.
Definitely
You
good
have to
work.
keep them in mind because
I'll put
we want to
you-
do more pieces that are.
I'll definitely
upholstered.
put you in contact with
That's
them.
great.
They've been around for a long, long time, but I've been meaning to get them on here too because
Yeah.
who do you know that does like upholstery?
Yeah.
There's so few.
And he's a kid that I grew up with, so he learned from his parents, and it's just like that would be the perfect episode.
Yeah.
But it's I heard everyone saying like, oh, there's no materials, things like that. I mean, is that did you have any experience with that? Couldn't
week?
get stuff?
Yeah, this week, yeah. We just, some of that, like you were talking about that bending bench.
Yeah.
There are 2 different ways that stuff can bend. And the one we got, the bent, like for the arms, but the back is going to have a bend as well. And that's a
Yeah.
different oriented, the bend is oriented differently. It was hard to explain, but that was backwards. So we just got that today. That was like months behind. Drawer slides, we waited like 7
Yeah,
months
drawer slides.
for
Jeez.
some drawer slides.
Wood too is just.
Expensive, but it wasn't.
But we were fortunate in the pandemic because we randomly and like this serendipitously hooked up with this guy who
Through BMX, actually.
through BMX, who took over. His dad owned a sawmill his whole life.
That's awesome.
When his dad died, like it just shut up. Like no one wanted it. And he had to come home for the pandemic and just saw all this equipment and all of this property and all this wood just rotting away. And he just said, I'm going to do this now.
Wow.
And so we've kind of met him like right when he started it.
Perfect place, perfect time.
Yeah. And it's all wood from PA.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next. It's like whenever you say you try to source locally, it's like I know people are going to like Lowe's and shit like that to buy wood, and I'm
Right.
sure that that's coming from anywhere.
Yeah.
If you walk through Lowe's and look at some of the wood that's there, and you're like, you're charging the same amount for this, and I mean, I understand there's going to be a bow on some things, but
Yeah.
I saw 2x4s that were like 4 foot offset.
Yeah, it's
if you lay down,
hilarious.
and you're like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
So I was curious. Like, I never understood, how you would be able to just buy locally. You're just finding people like this, and
Yeah.
like it's just people that have like acres of land and they're logging all this and sawing it themselves.
He's got his own mill set up. He's got the equipment to move trees. So if
I got to get him on here.
you should,
his story. You should go to his
I
spot and because
he's up in
100%.
Punxsutawney,
I'll drive there.
and you should go check it out. Like the mill is still there.
Is he a younger dude?
Yep.
Yeah.
totally.
We're gonna talk right after this. Don't.
He's go to his mill and he'll give you like he gave us the whole tour. Like imagine seeing a sawmill.
I'm literally trying to. I just talked to the zoo today. I'm trying to talk to the zoo. I was like, I need to be able to come in for a tour.
Yeah.
I try to. I try to milk that out of every person.
Go to the place.
Turner's. I was like, hey, I gotta have a tour first. I gotta have a tour.
See the chocolate.
You know what I mean? And
factory.
it's I'm trying to weasel it in there, but a sawmill. It's like it's a cool story. I feel like already.
It's an incredible story. We're actually going up to him probably on Friday, so we'll mention.
I'm gonna
it to
give
him.
you some cards.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you some cards. Put my
He's
name in his
awesome.
ear. That's
Yeah.
super cool to hear about.
Yeah.
And you try to like source everything. I love that you like do your due diligence and like try to source things locally. I feel like it's so important to do.
And it's funny because we actually turned a job down earlier this year because some people wanted something in like an imported African wood, and we were like, hey, you can get like, we're in Pennsylvania, we've got like the nicest domestic trees in the world. You know what I mean? Like
We're known for that?
Walnut, cherry, white oak.
Okay,
like these trees are beautiful. This wood is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's an hour away, 45 minutes. Like sometimes we also use this kid named Matt in Brighton Heights. And
Shout out Matt.
MPI Matt, shout out.
Yeah.
And it'll be like this tree got struck by lightning and he went and scooped it up and milled it up, and then we're making actually that table you referenced that had the split part, the live edge with the split, that was from a Pittsburgh tree.
Huh.
Yeah.
So like do you guys like work with like tree cutters and everything like that?
That's what they do. They did that part for us, and then we go and we like.
By the time we're looking at it, it's just like thick slabs.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's
That's
been
sick.
sawn down, rough sawn down.
Yeah. Just like smaller pieces that you could work with.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Thought of that.
But all of our, we also work with plies.
Yeah,
that is what in the pandemic has been the worst because, and we're not working with like plywood from Home Depot. You go to like specialty
for
cabinet
sure
ply, and that's just been a nightmare. And it's
What is the cause of this shit going up? Why is that?
The supply chain.
Is that what it is?
It's all coming from somewhere else.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
What now? Whenever whenever someone approaches you to do a project and you're telling me that you're waiting 7 months for drawer slides, is it like open ended? You're just like telling these people like, hey, some things are way far behind. We don't know when it's happening. Because even at my work, we have end caps that go into piping. They just told me that it's going to be a 6 month wait for these end caps, just because they can't get material to manufacture them. And I'm just like, what am I supposed to do with these?
Right. Yeah. We try to stick to a schedule. Like in the drawer slide scenario, we found like another company that was comparable that we could use for that scenario. But sometimes, and I think that's actually like kind of like upon reflection, like people, I think for the most part got a little more patient through the pandemic.
For sure. Yeah.
I agree with that for sure.
I feel like before the pandemic, we'd be like, hey, that like custom thing that you want more than anything in the world is going to be like 3 days late. And they'd be like, oh my God.
I know, like I can't live without it.
And now it's like we're waiting months for stuff and everyone's waiting months for stuff.
100%.
So it's like, hey, yeah, it is what it is.
One of the silver linings is like patience.
Yeah.
People, even in like t-shirt sales or anything like that, I noticed that like, before people would want shipping immediately, but during the pandemic, I see like, oh yeah, supply chain issues. So we're doing a bunch of pre-orders and people were buying stuff and not getting it for months. Yeah. And like, they're all right with it. But whereas before, if it was like a couple days late, it's like, you're a piece of shit. Yeah. Immediately 1 star.
Yeah, I know.
Have you guys ever like ran into anything like, real crazy where you do a whole project and, you put, multiple, however long into it and like something goes wrong with it or people like just don't like it and,
Never not I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. A designer we worked with asked us that the other day. Like, do you guys ever just show up and like it's wrong? We're like, no.
Yeah.
I hope not.
I mean, there's definitely. I think like if there's a big issue, it's run into
early
way
on.
before it gets to the person, and you can kind of remedy
Hopefully,
it.
I feel. Hopefully.
I mean, we do. Yeah. I think our process, like working together, has become way more refined in the sense that like there are 2 of us, so there's kind of two tallies of what do we need to do, and
that's
did we
a good
get
point.
this measurement, and we're kind of honing that process.
And if one of us is in the zone, the other one probably isn't. So before you make that really stupid mistake, you'd be like, "Wait, stop! Don't do it."
Yeah, actually, I wasn't in the shop the other day, and he was like, "I made the dumbest mistake that you for sure would have noticed." Because I typically like don't quite know enough to say like, are you sure you want to be doing that?
I know.
But there are certain things where I'll be like, I know I can recognize. I'm like,
and that's dangerous territory whenever you try to jump in, whenever he knows that.
Yeah.
It's like, what did you say? It's
right.
like, let me be right
That's how we have this very good working. But there are certain things where I'll be like, is that supposed to be right there?
You're like, you're right.
You'll be like,
It's not.
oh, I'm like just in the zone,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I'm sure it happens with anything that anyone does, but it's definitely fascinating that you two are able to coexist working together. I mean, I might be another part of the minority. I feel like that me and my wife would just be a powerhouse if we have plans to like do shit, but I would never see a negative,
Yeah.
And I know that there's like a lot of people that are like, oh, I can never work with my wife. It's like, I want to work with her because I just like, I know that we work well together.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting though. It's a cool dynamic. That's another reason that I wanted to like hear about it, and now where do you figure now, if you had to equate your experience before, you became a full-time woodworker, do you feel comparable now to where you're at? Do you feel like that you're like on your way of learning? You're able to like, elevate beyond like the.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned so much. I mean, it's been 2 years, 3 years.
2 years.
Pandemic
a little
is
over
like
2
yeah.
years.
Of just all working in
just
wood,
since
like,
I walked out of my job. I had worked at the Guild for 9 years, and then I had a very brief job at the Clemente Museum, and it was around that time that. I worked there for maybe 6 months or so, not very long, that it was just picking up so much. And we had always kind of talked about, like, wouldn't it be amazing if I could finally, help or, start to learn it. And it just got to this point where I was like, screw it. Like, why am I working so hard for, and not that these other organizations or something weren't fulfilling or
but
deserving,
it's ultimately for other people.
For
it's
other
like,
people.
I want to bust my ass for myself.
Yeah. And like, if I'm going to work like a dog,
I want to do it.
And we work 7 days a week, but I don't feel like that at all.
Yeah.
I don't, or
100%.
It's the most rewarding. I can't even describe how incredibly rewarding it is. And I had rewarding jobs. I was working with kids and art and
but
stuff
it's different. I know it's different.
It's so
I know
incredible.
It is.
And like every day, I don't know. I feel like the luckiest person in the world. I just am like.
Well, that's cool to hear. And it's cool for me because like, ultimately this is selfish for me to run this podcast. Like this is basically just cheat sheets on how people got to, to the point where they are. So I want to know because I want to apply it to my life.
Yeah.
I want to just like kind of, get, I feel like if I get bashed in the head enough by you got to just do it, it'll just, it'll be us.
It was scary. It definitely was scary. I was definitely a person. I grew up in a home. It's like, you got to have a job, you got to have a career. You got to subscribe to that kind of mentality. And I think that's been helpful in owning this business. Absolutely. Because I've always done all the books for it. And I've always, and done all the paperwork and the various tax issues we've had. But
you keep the leash on. You keep the leash on the creativity.
But I never got to do the fun part. Like I never got to go to the shop. And now it's just, I don't know. It was this big leap for me. I mean, definitely, my mother was very like, are you crazy? Are you sure? I mean, she's still like to this day will be like, Bobby, is she really doing something?
Yeah.
And it's like
we basically had to like provide a graph, like a visual graph for her.
And I'm used to that. I've had to forever.
I'm going to build you a birdhouse. I'll build you one right now.
And I don't know. It was really scary, but also, I mean, it just has worked out. I think just having this little bit of faith or something. I mean, we kind of knew he was having someone help him so often that it was like, why? Let's just do this together. But it's definitely a leap. And
scared money don't make money. That's what it is.
Yeah, and it was scary at times. I mean, early on in the business, it was scary. There were times where it's like, yeah, Bobby's like, yeah, I'll build your whole kitchen, and then you got to redo stuff, and it's coming out of our pocket essentially. So it's like my little jobs, kind of holding it together, and that was a scary thing to leave that.
Well, it's good because you guys are playing the long game. You obviously believe in yourselves, and that's what I feel like that's what you got to have to be able to like, ultimately be able to make it. You got to be able to mentally, just because like everyone's going to deal with negative shit. It's like the people that could like, withstand that and like kind of push forward because everyone's just going to go through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just at the end of the day, you just have to keep going. No matter how bad your day was, you just have to know that you're going to wake up the next day and just do it again. Until you get it right.
Are you a like a loud music type of person? While you're working, what's your process? Your creative process?
Creatively,
coffee in the morning.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Big old coffee in the morning.
A lot of coffee in the morning.
You morning person? It's good. I'm a morning person.
Yeah. I like to wake up pretty early. I wake up a little bit before Jolie and like have my own little Zen moment where we put some jazz on and have some coffee and
jazz
sketch a little bit. Yeah.
I just my buddy just gave me Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. That's my first.
Yeah.
That's my first initiation to jazz. He said that's probably the most approachable and the first thing you should start with. So I'll try to put it on. Like I probably listened to it maybe 30 times now.
Yeah.
And every time I'm like, I'm too dumb to understand this. But every time I listen to it, I feel like I'm getting there a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe 100 more times.
Yeah, it just feels good.
It's definitely jazz though. That's a different type of world.
Yeah. I think it's sometimes it can be like abstract enough that it lets your mind not think about
100%.
You know what I mean? It just like opens up.
That's what I feel like. That's what I told him. I was like, I hope at one point in my life I'll be able to listen to this and not just hear a bunch of people just playing instruments in a room together. I know at one point I'll be able to have you ever seen that movie Soul?
No.
It's a Pixar movie and it's about jazz and it's like, it should never be shown to young kids because it kind of fucks you up a little bit. It's like it makes you get in your feelings.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. You should definitely watch it.
Yeah.
It's basically all about the place people go whenever they hit that stride of just getting lost in it.
Yeah.
It's really incredible.
Cool.
But anytime anyone brings up jazz, I feel like I have to be a champion for that movie and let people know about it.
Yeah. We'll check it out.
Yeah, we're not big movie TV people. We don't really have one.
No.
So it's funny that
I can't wait to get into this next segment then. But I do an ending segment and I feel like we kind of got to the woodworking, I feel like we kind of figured out a little bit about it, but I do an ending segment with everyone that we'll kind of work in the conversation, but it's an ending segment called Desert Island Questions.
Ooh.
I'm excited. We're going to start it a little bit early just because there's two of you. It's unique. I don't really ever interview two people at a time, so this is new for me.
Cool.
But Desert Island Questions, whenever I give each guest 3 categories to take with on a desert island until they starve and die. You say you're not into movies or TVs really, so I'm curious about this. Your first category is 3 things to watch on a desert island. So you ideally get to pick 3 movies.
we have 3 favorite movies.
You got 3 favorite movies?
We're
I'm
not
curious.
totally disassociated.
What are yours going to be?
Superbad, number 1.
It's an incredible movie.
It's by far, hands down, my favorite
We
movie.
watched it 6 months ago probably.
Holds
and
up.
It does. No matter what. It's just a great movie.
Yeah, so number 1 is my Superbad. Number 2 is the Grand Budapest Hotel.
I've never seen it. I got to see it.
We watch it. I mean, we're also one of those people, we have DVDs.
Yeah. So watch the same ones all the time?
So that's my number 2. And my number 3 might be Big Lebowski, maybe.
It's a good one.
Another kind of comedy, kind of.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Kind of a comedy?
I mean, it's more, it's a comedy, but it's not like the
Is it considered
Superbad.
a comedy? Is Big Lebowski considered a comedy?
I think so, yeah. But it's kind of dark,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dark.
I love it.
Yeah.
I was late to the game with that. I probably only watched that maybe like 6 years ago.
Oh, man.
Something like that. Jeff Bridges kills
So
it.
good.
Yeah, you should watch it like 100 more times.
I should. I've watched it a lot since. I have not. Did you watch the follow up with the Jesus? Did you watch it?
Oh, no.
I didn't watch it either.
People said it wasn't very
yeah,
good.
I can't.
I didn't hear the best reviews.
His character was so weird.
He was so weird. I love him though
Yeah.
in movies. He always plays funny stuff. What about you? Movies for you? I'm curious.
You took 2 of my 3 for sure.
Superbad?
Superbad and Grand Budapest. But
That's how often we watch this.
I mean that's fine.
it's in our
Me and my
laptop
wife
right
probably
now.
probably got the same. We probably got at least one of the top 3. Definitely.
Yeah. What would be your third? The third's hard.
I think just because we're coming off holiday break, I'll put Bad Santa
Bad
up
Santa.
there.
So good.
So good.
Can't beat it. Even the second one is all right.
The second was okay, but the first
Yeah, the
is-
first one is just gold.
Man, Billy Bob. I feel like he, whenever you see people that's like, you'll see like tweets or something online that says, you want to talk about range? Billy Bob.
Yeah.
I mean, Sling Blade to Armageddon to, all these movies to Bad Santa to,
Yeah.
you can't beat that.
No.
He is one of a kind, Billy Bob.
Yeah.
Remember that weird Angelina phase with him?
Oh yeah, and they were wearing their blood around their.
I just seen that randomly, like probably like 3 weeks ago randomly.
Really?
And I was reading this. It was like one of them toxic Instagram that just shows you dumb shit you should never know about. And I was like, that's insane. Okay, do you both read at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so second category is 3 books to take on a desert island.
Harder.
I'm not a big reader, but so I always ask this so I could try to, anytime anyone says a favorite book, I feel like I should put it in my to read list.
Yeah. That's a hard one. It's always like things that we just recently read. I feel like I want to put in.
Yeah.
Like you're a lot more into classics, but.
Yeah, my friend Brian just gave me a collection of Kafka stories that I think I would take just to torture myself because like you can read it and get more out of it every time.
Yeah.
Like his stuff is very situational and can be abstract, but also really familiar at the same time.
Yeah.
So I feel like you could read a book like that 100 times and get 100 different feelings out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Probably another one would be Gravity's Rainbow because I have never been able to finish it.
Yeah, you could
Thomas
torture
Pynchon.
yourself again. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of self-torture here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably something by Kurt Vonnegut. Man Without Country is a good. It's kind of like his memoir.
I need to read more.
That's a really good one.
I need to read more.
Start with that one. Start with
It's funny.
Man Without Country.
Man Without Country.
With by Kurt Vonnegut.
Yeah.
I randomly just picked up Hatchet.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I need to read that. I'm one of them people that would like go to Barnes and Noble and spend like $100 on books and read one of them in 10 years. I'm doing all right, but I need to read more. That's one of our goals for the year. Me and my wife is to both start reading because she hasn't read in a while.
Yeah.
She just started reading The Last Lecture. You ever read that with Randy Pausch?
Oh no, but I've read of it. Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
That's one of the generic books that I read.
Yeah.
Not really generic, but we got to get into it. Reading. Got to read
Just
more.
don't have a TV. What else are you gonna do?
I know. So I mean, what's life like without a TV? Like, are you people that like, you're not up to date on any of the current shows?
We are. So we can watch stuff on our phone.
Oh, wow. That's a different world.
But it's awesome because like we can, if we want to watch something, we can.
Do you have like any favorite current things that are on?
Righteous Gemstones.
Oh yeah. I did watch a few episodes of that. I'm probably like 6 episodes in. Can't really beat that. That's so good. I'm a fan.
Yeah. John Goodman.
Didn't they come out with a second season?
It's just started. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can watch stuff.
Yeah.
Like we get a free subscription with our phone to watch HBO. So
well, that's good that you don't exercise it as much as a lot of the other people.
Yeah.
We got to stop watching shit.
Yeah, because you don't
watch it on your phone. It's much less convenient, and therefore you do it.
I feel like I would get sick.
Yeah. We got into chess. So
I'm about to try to talk to a chess teacher. Actually, my buddy just he runs this like page. It's called Be Local, and he like kind of shines light on like all these like cool places.
Yeah.
And it's basically, it's marketed towards like new implants of people that moved here.
Okay.
So he'll have like the best golf courses, but this dude teaches like chess classes. So I immediately hit him up.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm into it. Like, let's sit down and have one. He was like, well, we got to play first. And I was like, that's exactly what I wanted.
He's going to beat
exactly
you in like 1 second?
Yeah. I was like, I want you to just completely destroy me. And then I want to figure out how you do it.
Yeah.
But that'll be cool. Chess is, so you guys play chess a little bit?
Yeah,
I
had never played it. It was right after last Christmas because we couldn't be around our family or anything. And I was like, you know what? What if we I've never played chess. So we went and got a chessboard and literally played for 8 straight hours. I mean, Bobby showed me how to play and then just for 8 hours just annihilated me.
Have you beat him yet?
I've beat him a couple times. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I started like playing like on my phone.
Oh yeah, you wanted to get better.
She's better than me now.
So now they're just it's all about the queen.
Did you watch Queen's Gambit?
No.
Oh my god, I know you're not into TV shows, but that was like one of the best ones that were out. It's pretty great.
Yeah, everyone was because we weirdly were like into chess and maybe that was
and then that popped out.
Yeah, like a periphery bit probably.
I know, and everyone else like got into it again.
Yeah,
and like
it's a fun. We do that.
You can get lost in it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember playing in like Boy Scouts, like at summer camp and stuff like that. I remember playing all the time. It was a fun time. Okay, so did both gave me 3 books?
Oh no, I have 3 books. So
yeah,
I'm going to kind of do like a Pittsburgh plug.
That's fine.
Because I think it was just like it was a book I read recently, and it's written by a Pittsburgh author, and it's about him growing up in Pittsburgh. It's called What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Blacker. And it's written by Damon Young. And he started writing this thing called Very Smart Brothers. That's like this really just awesome thing that was eventually picked up by The Root. But now I think he's a full-time author. But his book is really, I just thought it was like really great. It's like a memoir of essays that I just really, really loved. I mean, growing up in Pittsburgh, I mean, I'm obviously not Black, but it really kind of shined a light on what that experience is like.
Yeah.
And he's local, and that's super cool. And he's gotten so much recognition for that book, which well deserved. But and then there's this other book I read called Homegoing by Ya Gayasi, and that is just it was a really incredible book about multiple generations from leaving Ghana to coming to present day.
Really,
it was really, really well written, just unbelievable. And then my third book, I don't know. I'd have to I've read. There's this compilation of short stories I'm reading right now by Truman Capote that I had when I was younger, and I recently thought of it and I bought it again, and they're really beautifully well written. And everyone knows him for what's it called?
In Cold Blood.
In Cold Blood, which is like his best work, and Breakfast at Tiffany's. But they're really good short stories.
I'm so out of my element. Like, you both are so very well read. I could tell. Just like, In Cold Blood. Like how many books a year are you thinking into reading?
We're trying to read. We've like set a new goal last year.
I'm not that. I'm very hit or miss. I'll like read 2 books in a week, and I won't touch a book for a month. You know what I mean? I'm all over the place.
I wanted to have a goal to read for an hour a day.
Yeah.
This new year, and we read pretty. I mean, even though you think you don't, you're reading really often.
That's good. That's what I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to work it in. This is going to completely affirm what I wanted to do. Yeah. I'm gonna regurgitate what we just talked about to my wife, and she's gonna be like, "We're reading. We got to."
You're reading, and you're starting a business.
I know. I know. I swear to God, as soon as we get up there, I'm gonna explain what we talked about, because anytime people leave from a podcast, I feel like I'm on drugs.
Yeah,
I'm
just
it's
so exciting.
This is fucking awesome. It's another great conversation. And I go upstairs and just tell it to her. It's like a little kid showing
Maybe
off his
you guys host
artwork.
a podcast together.
I've had her on a few times. Okay. She's always a fan favorite. She works at a bank, and then she does wedding makeup full time.
Oh, that's cool.
Another full time job.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of stories with that.
Oh my God, I hear all the tea. I hear all the good and bad. It's hilarious. Just different, It's different to kind of, because she takes time to learn and kind of respect what I'm doing, and this is very bizarre to her, and as a guy, makeup's bizarre to me, but I'm kind of up on it. Yeah. I know what's going on with it. Well, I mean, I just I want to show her craft as much respect, and I want to learn a little bit, so I could so I'll look at her makeup and I try to critique it, but she's just all right, you're a little bit too much right now. You know what I mean? But we're good teams. It's awesome. A good team. All right, third category: 3 things to listen to. So you get to pick 3 CDs.
Boy.
3 whole albums.
You big music people?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sadly, my brain is mashed potatoes with music after having Spotify. It's so easy.
I know, to just switch.
I hate that. It's so convenient, but I just feel dumb.
Yeah, but then I listen to a record and I'm like, man, I would love to just jump to the other album real quick.
Right.
So you're referencing. It's taught us that, where instead of just enjoying what's in front of you. And we have a big record collection, but we've gotten away from it. We have a Bluetooth speaker, and we'll do that, and that's
it's fancy. It's I got one that I had one on my bike, and I know I asked Cotto, I said, what do the bike people think about the people that have the speakers? And he's like, don't do it.
He rides around with the speaker.
I know he does. He was like, you just got to be considerate about it. You just got to be considerate, because some people are not.
Some people are blasting
crazy. Yeah. I almost got taken out a few times riding around Southside. It's wild down there.
Yeah.
3 albums.
The Freewheel and Bob Dylan. For sure.
Spend all our time together, you can tell.
Yeah. What else have we been listening to? I don't know the album name, but we have a really good John Coltrane. I guess Yves Montand is like a
that's our favorite,
French lounge singer.
Yves Montand.
Yeah.
In his early recordings.
Wow.
That's the album, his early recordings. That's really good. Yeah. Check him out.
Yeah.
Yves is Eve. That's how you spell his first name. It'll pop up on Spotify or whatever.
Wow.
I think he was considered like the French Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So
But very different than Frank Sinatra.
it's like way fun, and it's definitely one of those things like you're talking about, like you tune it out. Like it's hard for me to read to music that obviously is like singing in English.
Yeah.
So that's why we listen to like a lot of jazz. But then if you get into the like French and stuff, you can't, you don't know it. So it can kind of tune out.
Yeah, I like cooking I'll just put on random like Italian music.
Yeah.
And it'll just be
fun.
like the most random shit. And I just find myself like
Yeah.
just bobbing around. It's really great.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious to know you gave me your person, but like I also saw that you're playing guitar in some pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Were you in a band?
Yeah, Jolie and I have a band together.
You both have a band?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's called Pennsylvania Dirt.
Pennsylvania Dirt.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out what was going on because I saw a bunch of pictures you posted of her
Yeah.
that said you're going to be playing, and I'm like, what is she playing in? What is she playing in?
Yeah. Yes.
So how often are you playing?
Well, since the pandemic,
We haven't played a show since COVID.
We played like literally like probably a couple weeks before at a BMX jam.
What kind of music?
It's kind of like Americana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like folksy, little punky kind of.
All right.
We did a Misfits cover set. So
Oh, okay. That gives you a little bit of an answer.
We
Yeah.
also did a Beastie Boys cover set. So.
Well, that's a good answer too. I mean, that gives you an idea kind of what it is.
But
Do you guys play music together at home now? You just find yourself messing around with the.
We haven't really. I started actually doing some music stuff the other day.
yeah, like for probably 10 hours this weekend was jamming upstairs, and I was working on something else. And
Yeah.
yeah, if we don't have I'm like very much different musically. Like Bobby writes everything.
Oh, okay.
I grew up playing music, the saxophone, and I was in like marching band and the
Oh,
trumpet
wow.
line and all that. So my view of like playing music is so vastly different than his. And he can write music and write lyrics, and I can learn it. That's
Yeah.
like, I can do that. But
It always fascinates me whenever you see people on like social media that are like playing the violin. Like some dude now that was probably not that cool in high school, that probably didn't want to play violin,
Yeah.
who wanted to play guitar or drums,
He's-
but now he's playing like a T-Pain cover
Yeah.
in front of like 700 people. And you're like, dude, like now it's like you understand why it happened. People playing piano.
Yeah.
It's like it wasn't that cool back then, but
Yeah.
now it's like, man, super cool.
actually, he came down and he was like, I really think you need to play the sax on this. And I was like, my saxophone days are behind me.
I hope not.
I just immediately get the vibes after you said he was upstairs for 10 hours. Like I get the vibe of 101 Dalmatians just upstairs. You're just
Yeah.
upstairs playing.
It's kind of like that.
It was
really.
like, an electric guitar and a kick drums. It was a lot. It was a little, little less.
You both seem to be fun, creative people for sure. What about your music? Did you give me your three?
Oh no. So I think I would have said freewheeling, but since you're bringing that, and I'm assumed we're stranded together, I'll bringing it all back home. The other Bob.
That's a
Dylan.
good balance.
And then I think it's so hard because it's just what's in my brain right now. Maybe this Valerie June album, the first one, the Order of Time, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy, John R. Miller. His first album, The Trouble You Follow, has just been like on my.
You guys are putting me on to so much new stuff. I just gotta I usually just add stuff to like a playlist of like, I've had rappers on. They'll put me on all different kinds of rappers that like
Yeah.
I would never know, and I just
Yeah.
kind of just let it go. And
Yeah.
I did want to do something where like people would suggest a record, and I would listen to it completely and kind of just like do a little episode about it. I never did it, but because I feel like
Dude,
people don't
yeah.
want to listen to it. But I just wanted a way for me to like forcefully get myself to listen to new music, because I find myself listening to the same shit I was
Yeah,
in
I know.
2006.
2006.
Yep.
And it's very rare for me to expand. Before we dive more into this, I'm curious. I saw you posted something about doll furniture. Is that a real story that
Yeah,
you drove that far?
Well, it was for our niece.
Okay. I figured it had
so
to
we
be
were going to
like
Houston
that.
anyway. So
Yeah.
we made
I was
made
like
a doll bunk.
furniture because my grandmother was a miniature collector, so I was like,
Yeah.
why were you posting about doll furniture?
I saw that bed, and you were like, "This was a 20-hour trip," and someone was like, "Are you for real?" And you said, "Yeah," and I was like, well, "I need another story of that."
It actually, I think that project was way more for us. Like we were just getting such a kick out of it because our niece was like, "Oh."
She was very unimpressed.
She was like, "Oh," and Bobby was like, "They detach, like
Yeah,
they
you're
magnet."
like, "Look at these!" Like, did you turn those on a lathe?
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's sick.
Forgot about that.
Okay, so you gave me 3. Okay, so third category, or not third category, but third to last question is something called the death row meal.
The death what?
Death row meal. You ever hear them articles of people that are put on death row that they get one last meal?
Oh, one last meal.
You'll read them dark ones of like all the killers and like what they will ask for.
Yeah.
What would if you were about to get put to death? What would it be? You get an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert.
Oh boy! All right.
Foodies? Are you into foodies?
Yeah, we love food.
You
We're not foodies. We're
we
love-
cook. Yeah,
love
That's what's
food.
up.
yeah.
All kinds of food.
All right, I'm gonna do some shout outs. Keeping it in Southside.
Oh, okay.
Appetizer, I'm gonna do
Oh yeah.
a few pieces of nigiri from Kiku in Station Square.
Okay.
Best sushi in the city.
Is it
Oh
The
yeah,
best.
Best fish.
They're the oldest sushi restaurant in Pittsburgh.
really?
And they get their fish from New
Kiku.
York. It's like a different.
I'm gonna have to hit that one up. I just got a reservation at that G Gin. You ever hear about
you
that?
can't. Yeah, it's part of that.
It was like-
Deshance group.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm curious to know what that's about. I've heard some big things, and then someone was like, "Oh, you got to get a reservation. It's 2 months in
Yeah,
advance."
6 months.
Yeah, I
I
heard
looked the
that.
other day and I was
So
like,
it was like some weird. It's like a Tuesday at like 6:15
Yeah.
on their counter, and I was like, "We'll see what this is about."
Yeah, it
That's
seems
another
cool.
goal. We want to try to like have one good restaurant we never ate at per month, and one like class type date night per month.
Yeah.
It's like we're trying to do stuff like
some
that.
recommendations for you.
Yeah,
for
Kiku. I never heard of that.
yeah.
I don't
It's
know why. I never-
K-I-
And it's
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
because it's in Station Square, which is already kind of,
Yeah.
strange.
Is it by like Bucketheads or Melting Pot?
It's across from Buckheads.
It's right across.
It's
from
inside
I
the.
said Buckethead.
But we got it. But it's inside. You go into that it used to be a mall.
Yeah.
You go inside
Wow.
by the Buckheads entrance, and you'll see this little Japanese little thing, and you go in. It's a little magical world.
I don't know if I've ever even walked through that place.
You never went when it was the mall. It was
When
awesome.
was the
They used
last
to
time it was open?
They used to have the scariest food court there. It was the funniest food court.
It was awesome. You ever see the scariest food court?
It was like that mall from Tim and Eric. I don't know if you
Yeah, I
could
know.
do-
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But it was like that kind of mall. We used to go all the time.
That's interesting. I never would. I guess I would have expected it to be a mall, but I don't know the last time it was open.
It was a long time ago. It was probably late 90s that it was a mall.
I
but
definitely don't remember going in
There was
there,
a
but
Sesame
Kiku.
Inn in it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Man, I got to look at pictures of that because I don't remember it
The
really.
food court was unreal.
Sesame Inn. We got one up here.
I love
Good.
Sesame Inn, yeah.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
so
your
Kiku-
appetizers? Oh, nigiri. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll do
okay.
some pieces of nigiri. I'll let our favorite server Justin tell me what fish
Yeah,
is.
shout out Ask for Justin.
Yeah, shout out. Ask for Justin. Kiku. Entree. I'm gonna do a Donnie Brasco sandwich from Carson Street Deli.
That's a good one.
Shout out Austin at Carson Street Deli.
I like the buffalo chicken there.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah, oh,
good.
yeah.
Which one is Donnie Brasco? Is that the one with like the
Egg salad.
egg
On
salad?
the
Yeah, that's
buffalo
it.
chicken,
Yeah, the
yeah,
egg
it's just
salad.
It is just plain.
I don't usually do desserts.
Oh, humor me, please.
Desserts. For dessert, I'm gonna do a tall Iron City from Jack's.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's a good
I was
answer.
gonna say a beverage.
with a deviled egg or
Yeah.
hard boiled egg
Yeah.
in the shot glass.
Fried pickle. Yeah.
All right, that's good.
So I think I'll stick to salsa because I like to support. But I think my appetizer, I'm going BBT's chicken wings. Shout out to Jim. And they've got, I think, hands down the best wings and sauces. So
It's I can't leave it there. It's because that's a loaded claim.
well, I'm surprised Michael didn't talk about it.
Oh, he did.
Oh, okay.
He definitely did. I know he's a wing aficionado, and I know he's going to be like, "Fuck yeah!" But I have to claim that I feel like Streets on Carson has the best wings.
They have really good wings.
wings
Yeah.
are
They're
really
my
good.
favorite.
very good.
To be fair though, I've only had one time, and they were to go for yours. So
Yeah.
I can't.
And you gotta get the best wing cook, which is Shreddy.
Shreddy. I've heard that.
One shift.
I've heard that.
Dude,
He's a
Shreddy-
bike
and
guy too.
He's a big skateboarder.
He's a skater, but
Yeah.
he rides road bikes.
Yeah.
And so he's top notch wing chef.
I got to
at
go down there.
BBC.
I'm going to get Caudill to take me down there.
Yeah, you
Get
should.
some
Yeah,
wings.
yeah. Do an episode. Do Jim. Jim's awesome too.
Yeah,
you should have Jim on.
The owner, or
Of
he's like a
part owner
of
of BBT.
Oh,
And he's
yeah?
like, he's one of the best dudes. Anytime we've ever, like, sometimes we'll do kind of like a charity thing, and he does a ton of charity stuff at the bar, and
Yeah.
like is always, no matter what, if we post something and we're like, oh, so and so needs help or something, like we did a GoFundMe for like a park or something, and
He's a rider.
He's the first dude.
I love
he's
that.
always, and he's just awesome.
That's the best.
So like, yeah, my appetizers can be wings. I'll do on wing night 5.
What flavor? What sauce?
Spicy garlic parm.
Oh, they have a lot of sauces?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Really good sauces.
All right.
And then I think for my entree, I'm gonna go to Kiku, and I'm gonna get the super combo, which is you get a little sushi, a little tempura, and a little chicken teriyaki.
That sounds like that's where I would go.
Yeah,
I
the
would
super
go.
combo. You get a little everything.
Yeah, I like that.
And then dessert. Yeah, I might meet you at Jack's, and I'll do or you know what? I'm gonna meet you. I'm gonna go to Dish, and I'll just get like a nice little cocktail.
I haven't been there yet.
Unreal.
I know.
really good.
I know. There's so many places that people tell me about that I got to get to.
Yeah, they're really hard to get into too. They were open. They closed for a long time. I don't really know what happened, but ever since they reopened, you like can't get in.
Yeah.
You can sit at the bar. If you get there at 5:00, you can sit at the bar and you can eat.
I'm gonna have to start crossing more places off my list. Okay, so that was a desert island meal. Second to the last question, probably the most telling question, is if you're getting ready to go on a road trip, you can go into a gas station and pick one snack. What is it going to be?
Jalapeno kettle cooked chips.
That's all day. You like the Hawaiian onion?
I haven't had them.
Oh my God, I'm usually the jalapeno person.
Okay.
Or do you have a preference of brand?
I think I gravitate towards Snyder's.
Yeah. If you could find them, you need to try the Martins.
Okay.
Martin's chips. I'm telling you, I love a kettle cooked chip. We grew up on the jalapeno. Like that's my dad's go-to. The only other chip that is better than the regular Snyder's kettle cooked chip is a Martin's jalapeno kettle cooked chip.
Okay.
All right,
It's good.
We could cross that off. Right
They're
there.
hard to find. They're very hard to find. That's why my wife put me on them. She's like, they have them in one place in Plum. And I'm like, all right. I'll find them at random places now.
You gotta just like order a box online. Or
I was driving home from somewhere and I saw them at a random gas station and I bought her like 4 bags of them and she was pumped. They had all different flavors I've never seen before. Like barbecue, I only ever seen the regular flavor, and then they had a jalapeno flavor and I was like, I'll grab these. And then they had a barbecue and they had some other weird kind.
Damn.
I like snacks. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
What about you?
Gummy bears.
Gummy bears.
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't even hesitate.
Yeah. I mean, every time we go.
Do you eat all the colors of the gummy bears?
Oh yeah. I mean, I have my preferences, know, but
are you a yellow green gummy person?
I love the yellows. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never understood it. I was always a red person.
I'm with you.
I only like red and I would give the rest away.
Yeah.
I don't even like the oranges really.
The orange are the worst. I mean, everyone in the world can agree that.
I hate the green. Like, what are the flavors of them? Do you
They're
even
all the
think
same
they
flavor,
are?
I think. I think it's just like a psychological. We've said the yellow tastes this way. Green tastes this way.
Tastes like yellow.
Yeah.
Tastes like yellow. This one tastes like green.
I don't mind the red though. I like the red.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. Red ones are all right. If I'm going to go with gummies, I got to go with the Patch watermelons. Sour Patch watermelons.
okay.
They're they hurt my teeth now though.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question is, if you could both have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why? If you pick a loved one, I'll let you choose that, but you have to pick someone that is not a loved one, someone that you're not
don't
affiliated
know.
with. Already? Who is it?
I would talk to the artist Duchamp, who was
Duchamp.
Marcel Duchamp, who was basically the inventor of anti-art, the Dada movement.
The dot.
So like before him,
How do I spell it? I gotta just look at one of them. Marcel.
yeah, Duchamp, and then Do Urinal is his like most famous piece.
Duchamp urinal.
It's a lot to look at.
Oh wow.
So it's an upside down urinal.
Yeah.
And I have the
and there's
I have
spouts that
insignia
come back on you.
I tattooed the Armut. He signed it Armut.
Wow.
But I talked to him because he was the first person. I mean, hopefully you don't have like people like fact check you or something because I don't really remember. But
not on this one.
But he was like the first artist to present art that was just anti-art. It wasn't a painting of a landscape or he was the it was
like some installment type, because that's weird. I mean, that's some strange stuff.
Yeah, when I learned about him, it literally you opened my world view. So
is that like something in the realm of like street art type? You know,
I mean, street art probably exists because this dude did what he did. You know,
because when was that from? Like
early 1900s.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty interesting.
He was like, it was this big art exhibition that like the famous artists submit their big piece, and it'd be this expo, and he submitted that, and obviously it was turned down because
people were like, what is this?
Yeah,
and especially in a world of all that back then.
Yeah, big gilded frames and all that, and he shows up with an upside down urinal. So I mean, and also don't quote me if that was like the whole story, because I'm sure it's been a while since I remembered it, but I remember learning about him and literally like just in awe, like it opened your eyes,
Yeah,
so that's who I would talk to.
Yeah, you had so much to say. You sounded so smart.
I don't know what I'm talking
I'm here
about.
just cold in the seat.
There are so many people I feel like you'd want to talk to. I feel like for you, it'd be like, is it a musician, a woodworker?
I don't know.
All the BMX dudes are still alive.
Yeah.
They don't need to be dead.
Yeah, I don't know. This dude's not dead, but I think it'd be sweet to talk to Iggy Pop.
Oh, wow. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Imagine the stories.
That dude's got some stories.
Like, I mean, you would just sit down and just be like, just go ahead. Just
Yeah.
go ahead for as long as you want. I won't say a damn thing. That would be a good answer, though, for sure. Yeah. It's interesting who you hear people say whenever, you ask that question, because you got people that say serious shit. You got people that, are obviously not, political favors of one party that still pick Trump, and they're just like, I want to talk to that motherfucker and understand what's going on. But
that's an interesting to pick.
It's interesting. Someone's picked Stalin before.
Wow.
People picked Randy Marsh from South Park. You get a lot of good answers on here.
Damn, that's awesome.
It is.
Really
it's pretty wild because and you're about to be 193, episode 193, and like to have that many people, you hear so many different answers. So like my whole, like all of my desert island shit has changed a million times. It's like I've been kind of on like the Robin Williams, Richard Pryor for my last conversation, just because like it would be incredible to talk to Richard Pryor or Robin Williams.
Yeah.
It's like both of them to have like wild
is that
stories.
Richard Pryor on your shirt?
This is.
Yeah. I just saw his nose.
Yeah, weird of that. Richard Pryor. But I don't know. I think them two would be wild. But you hear people all the time picking cool stuff. But I appreciate Ian's coming over to talk to me.
Really appreciate it. This is so much fun. Yeah.
This was really fun.
Glad Ian's had a good time.
Yeah.
Glad Ian's had a good time for sure. Last thing before Ian's go, it's like, what gets you going as far as furniture? I'm curious. Are you someone that has like a weird, like, I love like the knobs. I love like anything like that? Anything like real particular?
I don't know. I don't have a word I could say, but when things just like flow together, when multiple pieces of wood just appear to be one organic shape, I get really jazzed on that.
Do you have a favorite woodworker?
No, I don't. Finn Jewell is like incredible. A Danish guy, like a mid-century guy, kind of like wilder, and I appreciate him because he wasn't taught as a furniture maker. He was strictly a designer, and he had somebody build his stuff, but like he thought outside the box because he didn't go through the same curriculum that a lot of those other guys did. Yeah. So his stuff's just like a little edgy.
A little different.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I was just curious. I don't know if you were someone that like pull knobs or something like that. It's like, I love a good knob or something.
I love a good knob. Yeah, I could get into knobs.
I mean, moving into this house, like I started to really appreciate things more that I never thought I would appreciate. I'm like, man, I spend, time looking at like the pull knobs, looking at handles or shit, plug plates, face plates. I'm like, I can get crazy and
down to the details.
Yeah, you can get down to the details. But all right, well, take a second and promote all of your work and anywhere people could find your work.
Instagram, Valentine Carpentry PGH, and we have a website. And really, that's
ValentineCarpentry.com.
Yeah, ValentineCarpentry.com.
That's how people reach out to you?
Yeah, a lot of everything is basically Instagram has been our best friend in trying to get out there. So
how big is that for you guys as a business? Like can I take liberty to say that I don't find you both as people that have the phones attached to your hip, wanting to post all the time with hashtags.
Yeah.
You know, for someone to kind of force that into their lives, you know, how big is that for you as a small local company? Because I feel like, you know, realistically, that's what you need to do to get your name out there.
And it's crucial.
For people that are not doing it all the time, it could be overwhelming and annoying because it does get annoying.
It's annoying. Bobby's really good at it. But it's like you're really good at like the stories and that's a lot of how people kind of interact now.
Yeah, it really is, because that's what I notice a lot is like whenever you post something, like I love to look at the stories because like you get a little bit more than just like a post, because whenever you post something on a page, it's like you have a beautiful like set up photo of it.
Right.
I kind of want to see you like wrenching in the shop, like
a little more raw
with clamps on there. Because I feel like it's just a little bit more like revealing on how things are done.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, it just occurred to me that like our Instagram's kind of turned into that, where we try and keep like the posts, like the permanent posts, borderline like what a website would look like when you go to it. Just like
that's what a lot of people think that they want.
Finished pieces
is like you know, I usually ask people, it's like, you know, whenever they're thinking of their Instagram, it's like I've never deleted anything off of mine, even from whenever I first started it.
Yeah,
just because like I feel it's so valuable to see the growth of it all. And I hate when people like they'll just delete everything from the past, and it's like sometimes I just want to like go look at you know, the growth of it all.
For sure.
You're a person.
If I could say anything, I think that you guys should definitely add some more, like, you know, just like those types of posts, because from me being an outsider's point of view, those are what I love the most. I obviously love like the finished pictures of them all, but I like to see processes of stuff, and I think that you do a good job at it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
well, tomorrow we'll do a permanent post of some gritty clamp shot. In your honor.
That's
good stuff.
We'll
it's good stuff. I'm excited about it. I do appreciate you coming over. I'm looking forward to seeing what you got.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
This is so fun.
Thanks. Everyone else that's listening, thank you as usual. Another episode, another great set of people in the city. Episode 200's coming up. I'm looking for recommendations for, you know, good guests for this 200 episode. I mean, it's a big deal for me. So if you have suggestions, I would appreciate it. But thanks for listening. Call you right back.